Hey, my name is Jared Moon, and I'm part of a group of underground athletes you've probably never even heard of before. We don't rely on fancy equipment for training, and most of us don't even have gym memberships. In fact, our motivation comes from within. You see, we have jobs, families, and responsibilities, but we still have big goals, and they aren't getting achieved at a global gym. For that reason, we have to do things differently. Our training has to be smarter. We don't have every piece of equipment known to man or a ton of time to train, and we don't need it, because we are achieving amazing things without it. So how do we do it? If you ask your average personal trainer or gym goer, they'd call us crazy. Yet we're seeing results better than most every single day. And it's happening by blending mental training with physical training and becoming an athlete. What we call, and welcome to, Garage Gym Athlete.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jared Moon here with Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
Hello.
And we have Chris Ruano. I get it right?
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. How you doing, man?
Oh, good. Good afternoon for me today, but good to see you guys today.
Yeah, man, glad to have you. So, been around Garage Gym Athlete for a while, gone through our coaching certification. You're one of the EO3 coaches. So we just feel like we've been in contact for a long time, man. I'm glad to have you as part of the community, and especially glad to get you on the podcast to talk more about what you do specifically, kind of what you probably have going on as a side hustle, and anything else that we can talk about. It's going to be great, but I'm going to let you kick it off, man, with an intro.
Well, yeah. So thank you guys. Looking forward to being able to do this. Been listening to the podcast for a while, and also, your Better Humanology one. Always picking up on all those. I got like a 45-minute commute, so everything it's perfect. I'll catch up and keep up with you guys. So yeah, my name is Chris Ruano, and I am a garage gym athlete, just like you guys. I'm a firefighter here in Los Angeles County. I live in Ventura County, which is just close by, but been doing that for just over 20 years. Started, once I realized that's what I wanted to do out of high school, started working on it, and then worked for Forest Service on some hotshot crew stuff for a few years. Got hired landed my dream job where I wanted to be. After about 10 years, 10 to 12 years working in the cities and doing the stuff I signed up to do, I actually went back to our Wildland division, which I'm lucky enough to have on my agency. So the work I like to do, working outside and working on exclusively on brush fires and wildland incidents. So that's what I've been doing the past 8 years. And so I lead crews for 4 years. I was leading inmates, and then the last few years leading our agency's paid crews, which would be similar to a hotshot crew, but out here in Southern California.
And can you kind of explain a little bit more about what a hotshot crew is for everybody out there who may not know?
Sure. For sure. Well, the hotshot crews are, typically when you hear that term, that is kind of just exclusive to like U.S. Forest Service type resources, but they're the ones that any brush fires we get out here in the West, Colorado. While I was a hotshot, I actually went back east a little bit as well, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee. But they're the ones out there. You're not going to see them on fire engines around the houses with water. All they got is hand tools. So we pack everything in, and we just get out there, and the whole point is to secure a perimeter around the fire. So we'll stop the spread by getting everything down to a bare mineral soil all the way around, so the fire's out, and we'll knock out any hot spots on the way, but they can fly us in or we'll hike in.
That's just pretty incredible, man. And very active job, I would imagine, having to run around on the countryside, fighting fire by hand with your tools on your back, man. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And then, I was just kind of talking specifically about the hot shots, but then out here in California as well, there's a large contingent of wildland firefighters, and wildland agencies. So they have inmates a lot of times doing that same job. So, we'll be leading and training inmate crews. And then now, and even though I'm not like assigned to the hot shot, assignment, but it is the same type of work. Wildland fire crews is what it is. And there's all different levels you can get in, but definitely, being a garage gym athlete, that's kind of unique. I think for me being a garage gym athlete, and some of the others I'm sure that follow are in the same predicament. Like, you know, a lot of us love to train and we're into fitness, we're into working out, but there's quite a few of us that, you know, our body and our fitness is definitely our paycheck, you know, and not just being fit and being able to operate at a high level, but something I've been really mindful of in the past few years is that durability aspect. You know, being able to, you know, I still have about 15 years left on my career, and I haven't missed a day of work on injury, even though, you know, the type of work I do is considered some of the more arduous, even in the fire service. And, you know, been able to stay healthy, and I definitely want to keep that going. And, you know, I kind of, you know, from working with you guys and what I've learned has really helped me kind of balance that out and program that durability and being well balanced into the training that I do.
Very cool, man. And you're actually in your garage gym right now, which is really awesome. So tell us a little bit more about your setup.
Yeah, I'll just give you guys a quick look real quick, but I just got a 2-car garage. So about 10 years, I've been a garage gym athlete. And a lot of that was because I lived in a rural area. You know, it was right about the time when, you know, CrossFit was just kind of getting big and blowing up. And I know a lot of you guys have a similar story, but for me, for sure, when I started messing around with that, it kind of reignited or awakened the fact that I could still be an athlete and push myself. And I still have a lot to learn and grow at. So, you know, for 10 years, I started just accumulating things in my garage, living in a rural area. I didn't have anything close by. So just started building it up. But to where I'm at now, a lot of it, half of it is bought, and then I've been making a lot of things. So we got, I got my bumper plates, some kettlebells.
Oh, nice storage.
Yeah, I made that storage, you know, just messing around, learning some welding a little bit, and then some barbell racks, medicine balls, boxes. So a lot of it's been DIY. And then you see the green rack there. And then I also have another set of squat stands there that I made, just spending time drilling holes and building those out. And those squat stands, a lot of people in their garage, you know, we got refrigerators with all our decals and stickers, you know, all the places you go. I've kind of done that with those squat stands. Like every time we go somewhere or travel, or even the summertime when I go on strike teams on fires, when I travel around to these little places, I'll bring back stickers and just slap them all on the squat stand. So they kind of tell a little bit of a story, you know, on that. So that's kind of like my garage fridge with the stickers is my, oh, sorry about that. It's my squat stand. Let me get that water bottle real quick.
So you made those squat stands behind you, the black ones?
The black ones, yeah. So I just, you know, just looking at some designs online and some 3x3 square tubing, and started drilling holes and
that's incredible.
Them up with some wheels.
They look amazing, man. Like for anyone who's not catching this on YouTube, like you gotta see, like I could very well have been confused that those came from Rogue Fitness. I mean, that's really impressive.
Okay.
Yeah, you do. Did you do the welds at the bottom too?
Yeah, I did, and it's no big deal that they're hold up fine for squatting, and
yeah, they're gonna do awesome.
It looked a little like bird doo-doo. I got some paint on it, so we're okay there.
No, man, I think you did awesome. That's incredible. I think you're the first person I know who's actually worked with by the 3x3 metal tubing to make your own squat stands, and that's incredible. Awesome, man.
Oh, yeah, it's been great.
And so, what was the big reason behind starting the garage gym? You said you've been doing it for about 10 years. What were you looking to achieve, or what was the big reason behind it?
Okay, and like I said, you know, just kind of reigniting a lot of the functional fitness. You know, when like cross training and that CrossFit style training got big, you know, was trying to be able to do that, and it was perfect for doing that at home. You know, that background of doing, you know, growing up in high school, I played a little high school football, but that was kind of really the extent. I got hired on the fire department pretty much right out of high school, only after a couple of years. So, you know, all I knew was just working out with friends, and, you know, I did consider myself in real good shape, and I tried to push myself on the runs and that kind of training. And then in the gym, it was all about, you know, buys and tries, or, you know, this, or, you
right,
know, kind of bodybuilding or powerlifting kind of, you know, workouts you'd find in magazines and things like that. So, you know, when I started doing some actual conditioning work and more functional training, I was finding myself pretty broke off, and again, relating it back to my job, going, I need to be able to do this, you know, I want to get better at it. So started just building up the garage, and then also I love working out outside. And again, part of my job, you know, it's really unique that firefighters here in Southern California, there's mandatory PT as part of our day, and we get to work out together and train together. And I really enjoy that. I mean, I can work out by myself, and I do a lot of times, but I don't enjoy it as much as working out with other people. So, having the family work out, my wife, she's pretty good about working out with me when I'm home. And now I got a 13 and a 15-year-old boy. And, they're kind of getting in here once in a while, and just being able to, like I said, whether it's neighbors or family members, but getting to work out with other people and wanting to have my garage is kind of the place where everybody can convene. Like, hey, I got everything here. You guys want to, work out? And I enjoy doing that in the neighborhood. But as far as why doing a garage gym, just again, like I said before, was I didn't have any other choices. There was nothing close by for me to have this kind of equipment or do these kinds of workouts in my garage. I mean, in a gym or anything. It just wasn't close by.
Yeah.
And then, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, most firehouse setups I've seen, they have pretty robust gyms or some sort of, maybe not robust gyms. A lot of like CrossFit style setups is what I've seen. Do you guys have something similar where you work? Yeah.
And I would say, in the last 6 or so years, that's been the trend. And so now certainly, I have a garage gym here, but all the gyms I work out at work, they are all garage gyms. Every fire station is a garage gym. I just left a facility where the gym was amazing. It was fully outfitted. I mean, you name it, that we had it over there. And again, we do a lot of workouts outside. And then now, first of the year, I went to a new camp where we really don't have a lot. So I'm starting from scratch. I mean, I didn't even have a place to put it. Everything was stored. Any equipment they had was stored underneath stairwells. They just ran and hiked every day for the most part. So trying to, the fact that I get to lead the team at work and come up with the workouts, we're kind of getting the garage gym going over there as well. And one more thing I wanted to mention too about garage gym, that even a lot of times at like a functional gym or a box or something like that, there's a lot of, there's a lot of stuff I like to do outside, and it's in your programming as well, with the walking lunges and, dragging and carrying things. And a lot of that stuff isn't conducive to even a functional gym, but it's more of a group type setting. So being able to do that in your garage, and, that's kind of unique. And for sure, like you said, I get to do that at the firehouse. I like to work out outside on where we park the rigs or their driveway, or incorporating runs or hikes as part of it.
That's really awesome, man. And so we just had a conversation last week, and I wanted to pick your brain on a little bit more is your use of sandbags. You do a lot of sandbag stuff, probably hinting at that, a lot of the durability stuff you're talking about a few minutes ago. But how have you incorporated sandbag training into your routine, and why do you like them so much?
Yeah, for sure. And then now for, to kind of talk about fast forward, doing kind of functional training, kind of following, doing some of the CrossFit stuff on my own. And then fast forward into just a couple of years ago, we were doing that training at my last camp, and it was good. You guys get to push themselves, but as a leader, as a supervisor, someone who's, responsible for our PT, it was kind of not as functional as I would. It was getting harder and harder to justify, when you're doing a lot of, snatches and muscle ups and things like that. It's like, if anybody gets hurt, I have to justify it to my supervisors and our brass, basically. How is that getting them ready for, the job that we do? So we kind of started jumping on some actual programming and learning a little bit about strength cycles and basically, instead of being random every day, having a plan. And at the end of this, where are we going to be better? How is it going to apply to our jobs? Where am I trying to take myself and my crew? So at the end of it, I can actually, say we went from here to there, instead of just basically like we did every day was run as fast as you can, as hard as you can.
Right.
And then work out as hard as you can every single day. And that's all we did. And we're in good shape, but I think long haul, we were really beating ourselves up. So we jumped on some other kind of military, it was kind of like more advertised, or, their niche was military prep, and it was good for us. But then when I saw what you were doing, really kind of became interested in putting it together, and followed your programming and took your course, the coaching course, and really what I really latched onto for my job, and I swear by it now, for law enforcement, and for my job for fire service, is the Z lift portion. You call it the Z lift, but it was really that strong man kind of work. And so seeing some of the sandbag stuff we had a little bit of access to, I really kind of jumped in really deep into that. So now for our in the programming that I've learned to do, because I do, after what I learned with you guys in your coaching course, I program for my crew at work. We follow my cycles, and that's what we do. And I put it on an app for everybody, and they can get at it. But a lot of it is a healthy dose of the Z lift. So every cycle, regardless of what our goal is, we always are doing a good amount of the Z lift portion. So strong bag work or strong man work, and then I do a lot of that using the sandbags. So that, and I started using sandbags, even all that work, that Z lift, I've incorporated, like you guys started doing the warm-ups now, which is like an accessory primer basically for the workout you're going to do.
Right.
That's what we started doing at work with sandbags, just, getting things primed, getting things ready in a functional way. So we're loose. And then we'll hit the dedicated and focused strength work or the conditioning or whatever else we have for that day. But I can really swear by the sandbags for us, carrying loads, whether they're people, we do a lot of tree falling and dropping logs, just that unstable load without nice finished barbell handles,
Right.
Can't get away from barbell for building strength, in the linear progression. But as far as just grabbing things and moving heavy stuff all day, that's really what we do. And, it gets kind of fun. You can slam them, throw them, drag them, and trying to pick them up isn't as easy as it looks a lot of times. So I love the sandbag work in conjunction with the, linear strength progression. One man, one barbell is what I've been using with the guys at work. It's been great. I really feel, we're definitely prepared. Guys aren't getting hurt, and we're all staying healthy and getting ready for the job. So wintertime, we go strength heavy. You'll get a little bit more sore, maybe back off on some of that, a little bit of the long distance conditioning, and then we kind of transition back into that. But again, all the workouts that we do, I follow your template, and we keep it at an hour, but we're still going to run. We're still going to hike in addition to that stuff. And then of course, fires and all the work we have to do for the rest of the day. But definitely sandbags a huge part of what I'm doing these days.
Yeah, you got to throw that stuff in there. I know when I was a physical training leader in the Air Force, it was, we followed essentially kind of what we have templatized now, but you have to throw in the push-ups, sit-ups, and running, because there's really no way to get better at that stuff other than to just do it, right? And so you gotta throw that stuff in. Likewise, if you go to your boss and they're like, yeah, that's cool that you're doing all this functional training, but like, why aren't they better at the PT test? And so you definitely have to throw that stuff in there. What have you found, working with your guys? How long have you been in charge of the training, the physical training?
I'd say about 2 years now. 2 years. And prior to that is with the inmates, we didn't work out with them. We were responsible for hiking and running them, and they were all for time. But, once I started working with the paid guys again, it was, so about 2 years.
And how do you guys like knowing that there's some thought, like you're putting in actual programming versus, random stuff that someone might write down on a piece of paper? What have you found? I'm guessing more from their psyche, like a mental standpoint, buy-in or whatever.
Yeah, I think they appreciate that. And then, like you said, PT tests, and to clarify too, like, so I'm already a full-time firefighter. I went through the academy. The guys that work for me on my hand crew, they're year round, but it's kind of an entry-level job. They're still trying to land that, full-time municipal fire department career. So as part of our assessment week, or fit week like you do, I brought in my agency's physical agility test, which for us is a beep test, like a 300-meter shuttle. And I've kind of reached out at some of these other agencies to see what their physical agility test is like. So I make sure, in addition to the strength metrics that we're checking out, that I'm keeping them ready. And I think that helps on the buy-in side that, hey, I'm getting better at these physical agility tests, so they know when they go to test that they're going to crush it, and be at top of the list on the physical side. And then as far as programming, to be honest, I don't really think they care. I think they appreciate the time and effort. And, again, me trying to lead by example, I think they appreciate the program that I bring, but I don't think they care a whole lot. They're younger guys in their 20s and they got their own stuff going on. But for those that don't have something to follow, they now do. And I talk to them and they do it on their days off, even they're following the programming on their days off, not just the days they're on duty. And then you got a few guys that, they were, into working out in high school or college, and, they like what they're doing, and, they probably don't, they would rather do their program than mine, but when I'm around, that's what we do. So, but I think by and large, I am getting a lot of buy-in, and then not just from them, but I think from my agency when if I ever have to explain anything or why we're doing this or that, and, I'll be able to talk to them just like I'm talking to you guys and break it down.
Very cool. What would you say your overall goal is in training right now?
Oh, for me, for sure. My personal overall goal is to, 42 years old, and I work with a whole bunch of everybody's in their 20s and, early 30s. And, I want to keep up with them and push them, just leading by example. And, like, for example, we did a great trail run yesterday, and I could still get all but one yesterday. And that's not every day, but I'm always pushing and nipping at their heels on any PT that we're doing. And, but for my personal goals, I guess it's always just to be extremely well-rounded. Like even the guys at work, much like the military, it's still the old school, just running is how they, kind of think or measure their fit. How fit are they? How far can they run? How long can they run? And so we're always going to still kind of have that. But if I can podium, like I say, on the strength side, I'd like to be top 3, and on the runs, if I can get top 3, top 5, and kind of balance out, I'm shooting for the most well-rounded, not to be better than just one piece. I'm kind of going for the well-rounded, and that's really where I'm going in my training. And then, as I said, staying healthy and keeping the injuries off. So I doing that's like strongman work and the Z lifts and a lot of carries. We've been doing a lot of carries lately, and bear crawls. But it really for us is all about, and for me is, I want to do this. I love my job. And I'm going to do it as long as it works for the family and as long as my body can hold out. So I do have to be smart. I'm showing guys different ways. Like my knee's been talking to me for a long time, and I backed off for about 2 months. I just subbed rowing for running, and it really did let it heal up. And now, I'm hitting the trails, and it's still there, but it doesn't bother me. I can start pushing again. So showing them alternatives, when they are banged up or bruised up, and how to do that. And I think that's a huge responsibility too, when training with groups, in a team setting, especially when it has to do with your employment, was I need to make sure these guys are taking it easy a little bit, and I'm teaching them and coaching them. They're not just throwing themselves at. I don't want to get anybody hurt. And I want them to build good habits, and hopefully the things that I'm teaching them and talking about, in addition to all the other things I'm trying to teach and talk to them about the job and work ethic. I hope they look at the stuff that I've been showing them, and they can take it with them when they go on to their careers in their fire departments and stuff. So
that's awesome, man. And on your knee, I think that's just really smart. We just had Dr. Matt Jordan on the Better Humanology podcast, and he was talking about how a lot of people, when they get hurt, they just stop. They don't do anything. And he said that's like the worst thing that you could possibly do. So continuing to move, but like on the rower, I know I've basically fractured my foot, broke my foot last year. And I went pure rower for several months. And it was kind of mind numbing, but it gave me the ability to heal, and things actually get better, and you're still moving and blood's still pumping. And, that's how things get better, and how you take care of yourself. So I think it's really smart on your part.
Yeah, the knee stuff and plantar fasciitis, I kind of was fixing that a little bit last year. We're always wearing like a high heel boot, on those Wildland boots. And I think just the 20 years of wearing those was really kind of starting to mess with my feet. And, we're dinged up, but then, showing them too, I know every day, they got different lumps and bruises, and, even though they're young, but to still push through that, and, just giving it our best every day. And so as you can hear from talking, like my garage gym training and what I'm doing is still so closely tied to my career. But I think for anybody that's looking, that wants to just keep pushing and improving, like I'm still going up on my strength numbers, because I never really trained like linear progression strength before. So even at my age, I mean, I'm PRing little by little still when I'm retesting myself and moving along using the one barbell was what I've been doing. So, I'm still able to PR and try to hit those agility tests that we still use. And I test the guys on to make sure I'm still can meet those standards as well.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a really, a big why and a great leader for your crew. And I'm curious to know, what would you say, I mean, other than some injuries that you've had to work around, what would be some of the struggles you've had to overcome in staying active for as long as you have and getting through it, the daily grind?
Yeah, I think for me is definitely like you kind of definitely on your like meet yourself Saturday workouts. I think that's the goal is people meet themselves. And for me, when we get out there, we do these trail runs daily pretty much or hikes, and you kind of just get in your own head. But I think it's important for every athlete and garage gym athlete to still know what's really winding their clock and what they enjoy and what they're passionate about. And, and making sure that you're taking care of that. And really, like I'm talking about in training, I try to be well balanced in trying to do that just in every aspect of your life, with family, work, and making money and having fun and all that. But for me, long term, I think what keeps me going is certainly just being competitive with not just with the other guys, but with myself. Still trying to PR. I mean, these guys are freaking young beasts. They're strong and fast and all this other stuff, but just it's still trying to just run my own game and just be happy with just improving and knowing how to listen to your body and starting to even just how we work out now with a plan and a goal and working towards something and deloading once in a while and I never did that before, and none of these guys have ever even heard anything about that. They didn't even know what it was either. So I think long term it's just going to be keeping yourself mentally happy and keeping it fun. And I love, like I told you, working out with other people, and I love working out outside. And so, it's a great fit for me, working out in the garage, or like I said, my gyms at work, they're all garage gyms. I really enjoy it. Like yesterday morning, I knew we weren't going to get the strength portion in, and I was hitting my my EMOM deadlifts before work. I was right behind all the apparatus, just finding a spot there to get it in, and the guys see that, and but it's not just for them. But I mean, that's just I wanted to get it in. I got to figure it out. So it doesn't matter. A little chilly in the morning or whatever, and that's one thing too. Just looking at the online community, the Facebook group and everything for garage gym. I love seeing everybody just getting after it in the freezing weather, no matter what it is. Like that can-do attitude of just making it work. No excuses. Just hey, you're gonna get it in, and like with our workouts, not everybody has all the equipment or can do it at home, but doing the best they can to achieve the stimulus with whatever they can get their hands on. But I don't know, just trying different things and incorporating different things and kind of treating yourself once in a while to a new piece of equipment or something to keep it fun and interesting and trying stuff out. I think long term, you just gotta love what you're doing, whether it's here in the gym or at work and fun with your family or whatever, but just well balanced and keeping happy, making sure you're taking care of yourself.
Love it, man. All right. What's the hardest workout you've ever done?
Well, the hardest one I ever done, I think was just, they're all equally horrible. Like I tell, like at work when we do stuff, it's like, oh, this is the worst hike. This is the worst run. It's like, oh, if you're pushing, they all suck just as bad, So, but for me, on our agency, a guy that I got hired with, his name's Arnie, and they named a CrossFit workout after him. And so we would do that, we would do that annually at some of the local gyms. It kind of died off a little bit in recent years, but, I would really push myself on that one. And just because of how much I was on the throttle, the workout's tough enough as it is, but, it depends on how much you're really pushing it and your foot's on the gas. And I would just blow myself out on that one. And so for me, that Arnie, it's a 70-pound kettlebell. You're hitting 50 swings, 21 squats, 50 swings, a whole bunch of get-ups. But for me, that Arnie workout with the kettlebell, and that's Arnie Kionis, LA County Fire Department. He passed away in 2009 up there on a fire we had around here.
And yeah, it sounds, I've done that one before. Definitely a brutal workout. And all those hero workouts. A lot of respect for those who paid the ultimate price for what they're doing.
Yeah.
Now, in your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
I think for me, I'm thinking about this one and what we've been talking about too, being in the leadership position. I think for me, the building mental toughness would be leading by example for a long period of time. So whether it's your family, like I got the boys I'm raising up and doing the right thing for them. And once you decide, okay, this is the kind of person I want to be, not just when they're around, but all the time, doing that long-term, setting a good example even when you don't feel like it. And then again, translating it to the workplace, same thing is if I decided I want to be a certain way and lead by a certain way, then I got to do that even when I'm not really feeling it, And so that does take mental toughness because you don't feel like it all the time, but that long term, like I said, leading the family or whatever it is that you're in, but you being a good example long term.
Now, if you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I'm going with the sandbag. I like bands. I like body weight stuff, but I still like to move heavy stuff. And, I like the portability and getting some of the U.S. soil in there. And, but so moving a load, sandbag, I'm going to go with sandbag.
Awesome.
If you could add something to either your gym or even your firehouse gym, what would it be?
Oh, see, yeah, for sure. Well, I got a rower, but I'd like to get the assault bike. I think an air bike. My gym at work doesn't have one. I don't have one here either, but assault bike, those things are nasty. I had them at my last spot, my last station, and I missed that thing.
Yeah, your athletes can really know pain then.
Oh yeah, I hate that thing.
Joe's trying to break his so he can get a new one. That's how much he loves them.
Whenever we do like a max effort for 10 seconds or whatever, I get this like popping noise in it. I'm like, well, one day it's just going to break it. I'm going to have to get that Echo bike.
That's not a knee, is it? It's not your knee?
No, it's the actual bike, but maybe.
All right. Well, there you go.
There's this clicking noise. I swear it's from the bike.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. Oh, something else broke.
Hey man, what is a lot of garage gym athletes all around the world listening to this? What would your best advice for them be?
Best advice for, keeping the garage gym athlete lifestyle going, I think is, like I was talking about, maybe treat yourself once in a while, get something new, even if it's just a pair of shoes or a weighted vest or a new piece of equipment, a sandbag or something. But keep it interesting, keep it exciting. When you get something new, you really look forward to trying that thing out. And, kind of like that when you were a little kid, you get shoes, you'd run around the store, shoes are getting faster, right? You're like, oh yeah, I'm fast with these ones. So I think getting some new stuff, and then also inviting others, whether it's your family, I love working out with my wife or neighbors or my kids, but invite others to participating with you. And that whole community aspect, I mean, we weren't intended to live our whole lives by ourselves. So it's nice to invite others, even in our garage training.
I think that's a really interesting, that part about like getting something new, like that really plays into the psyche of the athlete. I think that's incredible advice because you see this happen. And so say someone gets a whoop, and they're motivated to train for 6 months because they got this new whoop and they want to see what they can do with all this other stuff. But then it kind of dies off and you're like, well, okay, well, you buy a new barbell, and that keeps you motivated for a couple months. Like that really is like a good strategy for, keeping yourself engaged, especially when we train day after day by ourselves, alone. It's always good to have something to look forward to, or, okay, after this cycle, if I hit a PR, I'm going to reward myself with this, or new air bike, Airdyne, whatever it is. I think that's really awesome, man. And haven't heard that perspective from anyone else before. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah. And that's how you keep building up the garage gym over time. You get yourself something once in a while and you just keep adding to it.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, I really appreciate you being on the Garage Gym Athlete podcast, man. It's been a blast.
Hey, thanks a lot. Really appreciated it and enjoyed it. And I'll be keeping in touch and tuned in. Thanks a lot.